Alrighty guys, welcome back to another video on the Crew 2 closed beta, and in this video I wanted to discuss how I feel towards the new bike handling of the Crew 2 compared to the first game. Now, this bike's actually pretty much maxed out, but I guess we could still consider its handling physics and how it feels. But overall, the bikes actually feel really good. They feel realistic, but not so realistic that they're a pain to drive. But as you can see, they still don't turn very well, but I think that's to be expected because the bikes do have very skinny tires compared to cars, so it will make them understeer a lot more than usual. So it does feel like they are pretty well balanced to cars right now. But as you can see, their acceleration is pretty rapid actually. Not nearly as rapid as the cars, but it's still pretty fast. Of course, the turning radius is still just not that good, to be honest. And of course, if you actually look at my character while he's riding around, as you can see, his shirt's vibrating in the wind, which is really cool. I'm just driving around the bike casually. The bikes are a little bit more difficult to drive than the cars, I do have to say though. They do feel pretty similar to that of the first game, in terms of how they've been tuned to be more balanced with the cars in a way. But they still are kind of overpowered. And I could have sworn this thing was turning a lot better than yesterday, but whatever. In terms of just their overall abilities of jumping, sometimes they actually will freak out a little bit, and of course I just crashed there like an idiot into a random parked car. But yeah, sometimes when they're hopping over curbs, they'll freak out a little bit, like their back end will like come straight up, but they will recover. They are perfectly fine with that, and they're pretty robust and durable. Of course, you do have to brake a lot more compared to the cars with these bikes. As you can see there, you can actually control them in mid-air, and of course you can also do backflips and so forth, but it seems more intuitive now. It doesn't seem like you're gonna flip over, but I just crashed into that couch. I think that couch would have killed me in real life, to be honest. Killed my biker dude. I particularly chose this bike because, well, I just felt like it. And we don't actually know what the most overpowered bike in the game is. I could have sworn this thing was driving a lot better than it was. A lot better yesterday. They probably patched something out with it. But as you can see, the acceleration is pretty rapid. And they actually do not spin their wheels no matter what compared to the cars. So they do have a little bit of an advantage in terms of that. Well, yeah, it feels pretty good. The bikes do feel pretty good in my opinion, the street racer ones. No idea what that was all about. That same ramp killed me, screwed me over in one of my cars before. But yeah, overall the bikes are pretty nice to drive. I mean, they're still not as perfect compared to the first game. They probably could be a little bit more perfect, but since they're in the same class as cars, they kind of need to be balanced out in a way with the cars as well. So yeah, there's nothing really you could do about this. The stupid environment changes going around. Going back to the snowy thing. But yeah, overall you can still mess around with the bikes and have some fun with them. I mean, you could do wheelies. I'm not very good at doing wheelies yet, but yeah, you can basically kill yourself pretty easily on these bikes. But stoppies, I do actually like the stoppies. You can do stoppies pretty easily. And they're quite fun to do. The wheelies seem a bit more difficult to do now. There we go. Yeah, if you go a little bit too fast, you'll actually fall backwards. Which I guess that's good, that's how it is supposed to be in real life. But yeah, overall they did a pretty good job with the bikes. The cockpit view is about the same as it is before, as you can see. The mirrors still don't work, but that's to be expected. They didn't advertise them as working. But yeah, overall the bikes feel pretty good. You can actually even do tricks with them. If I could find a jump somewhere, I'll show you guys that. You could do like backflips and front flips. Here's a jump. Oh, you can't do that with them anymore. What the heck? It's a lot harder to do tricks with them now. You gotta have a lot more airtime in order to do a trick with these bikes. I was mistaken. They don't really try to do backflips or front flips anymore. Which is interesting. Although that was fairly annoying to do for... that was fairly annoying on the bikes. I mean, here's a ramp right here. I'll ramp off of this bad boy. See what this thing can do on those. So weird bike phases. So yeah, you can't do backflips on these. You cannot do backflips on these bikes anymore. I think it's only the motocross bikes that could do that, as far as I remember. My dude's just covered in snow right now. Look at him, he's just all white now. All his clothes and everything. But yeah, that's basically it for this bike. I'm gonna jump into a rally raid bike because that's really the only one I can properly use, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in a bit. Alright, so here we are with a rally raid bike. Let's see how this thing goes. Or if it'll even let me use this. I'm pretty sure it'll let me use this. See what this bad boy can do on this. Probably not going to be terribly fast. Actually, it's fairly fast. It's got a higher level than usual. Huh, Ghost didn't load. Interesting. This rally raid bike is actually kind of slow, to be honest. So apparently there's a bug with the bikes that the Ghost doesn't load properly in these events. And you can still control your bikes in the air, just like normally. And you can wade through water like a boss. See if I can even do the time with this bike. I think it's possible. Yeah, this thing wants to try and do flips. This one will do flips, but the street racing bikes don't do that. Drop it down on the 5th gear by tapping the brakes slightly. Feels pretty good. Feels really solid, the rally raid bikes. I think the rally raid bikes actually feel a lot more stable than, well, the rally raid cars. Which is weird. Yes, because these guys are so much smaller and lighter. The bikes do feel good, I do have to say. Street racing bike does feel pretty proper, although it understeers like a mofo, which is just like it was in the first game. Yeah, it'll try and do like front flips and stuff like that, which is weird. Drop it down to the 5th again. I should be able to do this time. I can more than easily do the time. Why is it in 6th gear again? Yeah, more than easily did the time. These bikes are pretty fast. And they're really easy to drive, actually. The rally raid ones are super easy to drive. And my dude's foot's going through the ground. Nice. Feels pretty good. The rally raid bikes feel a lot better than the street racing ones. There are no circuit ones as far as I saw. Looks like they completely removed
Say
it.
that race went well for her.
Let's put some parts on this thing.
I got the check, you got the win, you got our name in the paper. Very well indeed.
Well, yeah, let's see what this thing can do in the off-roads. Just a normal free roam, see what this thing can do. Since I still have a little bit more time. I need to find like a little ramp or something to go up off of. Up. The wrong side. Nice. I think I went through that log partially. Nice go. Ничего. Нету. The backflips are a lot harder to do on these rally raid cars. They are possible, but you need to get a lot more speed in order to do them properly. As you saw there, my biker dude like landed on his head. So rip this guy. Rip my biker dude. Although he's really not wearing the proper gear for, well, driving around out in the dirt in one of these bikes. But yeah, overall the rally raid bikes are actually better than the street racing bikes that I just crashed into a wall. Like an idiot. They feel really nice to drive. I haven't played with the motocross bikes really because we can't really do anything with the motocross bikes. I think the motocross bike's going to be even easier to do flips with and so forth, and I'm an idiot. I'm way too used to the car physics and not used to the bike physics of this thing. But these do corner a lot better. The street racing bikes just don't corner at all. This partially probably goes hand in hand with the fact that this thing is just so slow. There's literally streetlights right out here in the middle of this dirt road. Seems legit. Well, yeah, that's basically it for the bikes. That's all I can really say about the bikes. They feel pretty good. The street racing ones are just kind of They're about as bad as they were in the first game, but the rally raid ones do feel a lot more improved, and I think the same with the motocross ones, since they're in their own individual spec. I mean, I guess these are just fine. The rally raid ones are fine in my opinion. I don't have a problem with them being overpowered. Maybe, like, to the developers as well, try and, like, fix the street racing bikes a little bit so that they corner just a little bit better, because it really feels like they have absolutely no turning radius whatsoever. Or at least a turning radius of a couple of moons. But yeah, these are really fun to drive. I didn't think I'd find the rally raid bikes so much fun to drive. Well, let's just call them off-road bikes. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and well, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Just pull over here. That's it.